Hi guys, Greg at Best Choice Trailers here. I'm going to take you for a walk around the Neo 7x12 tandem axle NAMR motorcycle trailer, aluminum frame by Neo. Trailer for the most part stock. There are a few options on it. We'll show you those as we go around the trailer. This unit's got a black front, silver rear. It's roughly a 50-50 split. You get a little bit more of the front color. It does have the optional aluminum wheels. While we put aluminum on pretty much all of our Neos, they are technically an option. And then inside, I'll show you the finished walls. They're optional, but included on this package that we do. And also we go +6 height. Allows you to get golf carts, potentially some UTVs, certainly all your bikes, ATVs, etc. So very handy trailer, very sporty look, good value, and I think you'll see good craftsmanship. So I'll show you some of the features here. Up front, it's got a 2 5/16 inch coupler. Notice it is a zinc coated coupler. Also has a standard top line jack, also zinc on the jack as well. Safety chains, of course, breakaway cable. You'll notice there is no breakaway battery out here. It's because it's inside. That's something a little bit different Neo does. Nice idea. Also, it's a sealed wiring harness. It is a cold weather rated harness, so it stays flexible down to, actually, it says -55 Celsius. So a lot colder than I hope to ever be a part of. It does have a triple tube tongue. You'll notice it's an integrated frame. Not many in the industry do an integrated frame. It's a very good idea. It's also very labor intensive. So traditionally you'd have a tongue that'd be underneath your main frame. Integrated frame just makes a lot more stable design, but it's also a lot more cuts, a lot more welding, but also a lot better job at the end. There are a few now that do the integrated frame, but not many. I can only think of about 3 in the industry that do. But again, as Neo does a lot of their fabrication in-house, it allows them to do some of the neat stuff you see on this trailer. For instance, Stone Guard looks a little bit different. You also notice the Neo name badging on the Vinos. Another detail you see, this has a round top Vinos slant nose. You'll find most in the industry are going to be a Vinos with a flat top, or they'll be a round top with a radius front. Occasionally you'll find a manufacturer doing a round top Vinos. Very seldom do you ever see a round top Vinos slant. Very sleek look, very aerodynamic. Pretty cool to see the jig that those are made on. Pretty complicated, but Neo makes it pretty easy. One piece 080 extruded roof cove. See sometimes in the industry a seam together 030. This is a thicker style. Again, one piece front to back. Has the side flow through vents, so your intake on the front driver's side, outtake on the back passenger side bottom. The trailer looks a little cleaner. Well, one thing would be the integrated frame. You don't have a perimeter trim. You actually see the frame as a perimeter, and then you've got your J trim that cleans it up and finishes it. But also, it's going to be a screwless exterior. This is an 030 thickness aluminum. The thicker the aluminum, generally, the flatter it's going to lay. It doesn't look warped and wavy. Screwless exterior also does that as well, because when you put screws into it, just like soffit and fascia and metalwork on your house, it's going to want to warp or look warped at those areas. So again, 030 screwless. You also notice it is a two-tone. That is standard equipment, believe it or not, on Neo. They're able to do some pretty cool fab capabilities, so they make sure to integrate a lot of that into the trailer. The aluminum wheels, as we said, are optional. Our wheel styles do change over time. Generally, we've got a few different ones. We let the customer pick. I just picked these out for this one for now. It's also got aluminum teardrop style fenders with your center light. Brakes, of course, on both axles. So standard height on these is 6 foot. We upgrade these, as I mentioned, to 6'6". Now I'll show you the header on an aluminum trailer normally is only about 4 inches, where your steel counterparts are about 6. So it allows you to get some of your UTVs, again, certainly your golf carts and that in. So some of the other cool stuff Neo does on these, neoprene hinge, doesn't require service over time. Very neat setup. You can actually see it from the end there. Also, Neo calls these their Pro Stab jack. They make them in-house. If you're familiar with jack stands, normally they're undermount and they're swivel. And normally, if you're like me and you let them down and forget, it lasts one time and they're trash. These, one thing, they're actually bolt-on, available for other manufacturers' trailers. If you got a trailer at home and you like this style, these can be added to most trailers, for one. But again, on the NAMRs, these are standard equipment. You'll notice they're made from 2x2 tube, and I'm gonna let it drop. So it's made from 2x2 tube. You just pin it at the height that you want. Normally, I think there's pre-drilled holes roughly every 2 inches. If you want them a little closer, you can. And then you would just crank the jack to the height you need. Thin strip, LED light, clear lens are standard equipment on these. Again, NEO tries to make a very durable trailer, something that's not going to require a lot of service long term. Aluminum grab handles, and also aluminum door holdbacks on the door. Sometimes you see plastic in those two areas. These both are aluminum on this trailer. Center of the door, it's a stainless steel NXP latch. This is not trademarked by NEO, but certainly they're one of the only ones I see in the industry. So you can push with your thumb. You also can put a lock through there. I just prefer to use my palm to pop it, pick it up, pull the door down, then I just, two hands a little bit easier, but just push it back down. So one thing you'll see as well, NEO does an outside hinge on the ramp flap extension. So there's no piano hinge there to catch and whatnot. You also notice this ramp is I'm not even actually touching the ramp. It's also very well balanced. I point that out because a lot of manufacturers you'll catch, it'll slam down to the ground and slam up. They got these dialed into just about the right spring setting. So one of the first things you'll notice is this is a plywood floor. A lot in the industry right now we're going to use engineered. Normally you're going to see the brand names Drymax or Advantech. Plywood is still around, just not as readily available. NEO seeks out plywood. They believe in it. But again, it is plywood. I point that out because a lot have moved from it because it's a little bit harder to source and a lot of times a little bit more costly. The grip tread runners on the floor, standard equipment, give some extra traction going up into the trailer. So this is a 7 foot wide. You can actually get these in a 7.5. We do stock them in 7.5s. 7's the widest you can get with the fender outside. On a 7.5, you're going to get about half the fender inside the trailer. One of the things also to point out, 7 foot would be an outside box measurement. So from the outside skin, inside you're going to lose about 3, about 6'9" to the wall. Also important to a lot of guys is going to be, what is my through the door measurement? So off a 7 foot, we're going to take a 4-inch corner post and about 1 inch of spring cable each side. I believe this one through the door ballpark's going to be about 6'1", give or take. Also, you're going to lose a little bit on the header. So if we say 6'6" inside height, generally you're going to lose a couple inches off that. Steel trailer 6 inches. Aluminum, it depends whether it's a round top or a flat top. You're going to lose about 3, give or take. Inside, the white vinyl wall is not standard equipment. We do add that to this. This gives it a nice finished look. A kick plate, a 12-inch kick plate is standard equipment at the bottom. Again, we just think this gives it a nice finished out look. A little bit brighter, reflects light a little bit better inside. Certainly, if you ever had something tip over, it's not going to put a ding in your outside aluminum. You wouldn't want that. So again, we put the wall liner in. 2 dome lights standard on the passenger side cove. You'll notice it is a matching white cove. That is standard. NEO also uses an RV style door. If you're not familiar, you can lock it from the inside or the outside. It's got a deadbolt lock, and then also you can lock the handle. Nice bright white finished out. It is a solid core door as well. It's not hollow. I mentioned earlier the breakaway battery box. It is inside, not outside. It's just weather protected. You also notice a junction box for your wiring. Wiring runs up the nose of the trailer. Give you a shot of the slant nose V-nose. Pretty cool the way they do it, but gives you a little bit of a look at it. So that's the inside of your outside side flow through vent. That's your front driver side high, and then your rear passenger side low. So this tie down system in the floor, they call the sport tie down, standard on your NAMRs. Just gives you a lot of different tie down options. If you want to stagger, typically front, driver side forward, passenger side back, keep behind the door there. All kinds of tie downs. Now, these cross members run perpendicular to the trailer, and tie downs are right over top of your floor cross members. You'll notice that 3 lags in each one, so they go right down into a 2x3-inch tube floor cross member. So very neat the way they're tied down. Very very not coming out of the floor. I believe there's 8 of those standard on a tandem axle. Kind of hard to put in with one hand, but I can take one out. Basically, it just locks in place. Pick up, push down with your thumb. You can pull them right out. I believe those are weight rated to about 500 pounds, give or take. You'd have to ask spec on that, but again, they put them in. Most of your power sports you can safely tie down with those. You can also look them up. They call that aluminum airline track, or some call it L track. You also notice with the 6.6 height, you get 6 inches longer in the ramp door, plus with the ramp flap extension, you got a nice low load angle, certainly capable of hauling most any bikes unless you've got something that's highly customized. So I said this is a 12 foot. That would be the square box measurement. Down the center, you're gonna get roughly another 3 foot. NEO puts an extended nose on these NAMRs. So again, you're gonna pick up roughly an extra 3 on the nose. That's a little bit longer than most. Most on the nose are gonna give you about 18 to 20 inches. This is an extended nose. Again, we said the aluminum wheels were added, brakes on both axles. So not only is it a thin line clear lens LED light, also you got the markers as well. Got your RV style door. Has the piano hinge, no straps on it, gives it a nice tidy look. Said it is also an aluminum door hold bag. Available in different colors. We like the look of the black and silver. Black and charcoal also looks sharp. I do some pewters and charcoals, all kinds of different color combinations. It's about 7 or 8 standard colors and then a handful of optional colors on these. Let me show you one more thing. I want to show you this integrated tongue. To me, it's very important because it's way different than most in the industry. So I want to show you how they all tie in. Notice these are 2x3 tube floor cross members as well. They're not 2x2. This unit's going to weigh in at about 1,600 pounds, give or take. It's going to give you a net legal payload of about 5,400 pounds. Aluminum's generally going to weigh about 2/3 of what a comparable size steel trailer would weigh. Certainly a lot more corrosion resistant. And I hope I've showed you a few of the craftsmanship differences. If you look at a steel trailer on average, it's not going to have a lot of these details. I'll show you one last thing I did forget about, but I really like about NEO. You do a mixture of MIG and TIG welds. So you've got some pretty clean welds on this particular unit. One of the things that I would look for if you're a customer, whether you buy a NEO from us or elsewhere, or whether you buy a different brand, I'd look for a manufacturer that only makes aluminum trailers. Generally, if they do, got some pretty clean welds, normally pretty clean cuts, and generally they've got welders that are just manufacturing aluminum trailers, generally a little bit higher quality craftsmanship. If you have any questions on these that I haven't answered for you, feel free to give us a ring at 717-220-4220, or you can visit us on the web at bestchoicetrailers.com. Thanks for looking.